This episode of Getting to the Truth in This Art is brought to you by Charmington Holistics. If you're like me, you realize that now more than ever, it's important to have your wellness in check. That's where Charmington Holistics tonics come in hand. Charmington Holistics tonics contain a combination of nutrient-packed superfoods with herbal support and are meant to be enjoyed daily. These tonics are good and good for you. They can be enjoyed in a variety of beverages from coffee to cocktails. My favorite is Tummy, which contains turmeric and tastes just like root beer. These tonics are a wonderful way to add extra herbal support and nutrition into your diet. Head on over to the Best Little Herb Shop's Instagram today at Charmington Holistics. Takeout is cool, but delivery gets pricey. So, like a phoenix from the ashes, indoor dining is back at Forged Eatery. I use the analogy because the food is fire. It's a new approach to farm to table. No overalls, just dope food. Try my favorites, like the mushroom stew with pine nuts and ricotta, the cornmeal fried happy oysters, and the seared duck breast. Also, ask about the chocolate chip cookie tins. Mini chocolate chip cookies with a dusting of sea salt. Simply delicious. Head on over to forgedeatery.com to check out the current menu options and make a reservation today. Forged is located at 3520 Chestnut Avenue in Hamden. Welcome to Getting to the Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee, and today's guest is a DMV artist whose work tends to focus on social commentary, daily routine, human nature, street art, cubism, abstract, and ethical issues. I have Qrcky. I have my man Q here. Welcome to the podcast.
That was a pretty good Damn, that was the best intro I ever had. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Make that part of your demo reel, though.
Yeah, that was like, oh, wow, he kind of nailed it. Very good.
So I came across your stuff. One, I started following you beforehand, so I don't feel like a complete neophyte. So I started following you initially, and I was like, all right, I see the MF Doom reference here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep following here, right? So
that hurt my heart. That just hurt my heart. I got my mask ready for Halloween. I'm going to Doom every year. That's all I want to do. I
haven't mentioned this yet, but because I like puns, my girl calls me Big Pun sometimes, which is great. Because he's a fellow Aquarius. His birthday was recently. Yeah. The weekend he's doing that whole red suit. But I was like, I should do one called 3-Day Weekend or the Long Weekend. It's just me doing the same aesthetic.
When you plan on doing this?
I mean, he's still got the tour coming, so he's going to do a tour in 2022. So I'm still good. I'm set for a couple of years. I don't have hair, so it's going to be a wig.
No, do I.
So it's just like the wig is going to look bad, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. We'll swag that up.
All right.
I mean, I have a red overalls. I was going to do Us, and then I just got sick the last 2 years. I was like, and I can't find eyeshadow, so I was like, all right, I guess not doing Us.
The best Halloween costume I ever went in is Black Jesus. There's nothing like going as Black Jesus. Everybody wants a hug. Like, Jesus, I need to pray for. Oh God, they can't get me this on Halloween. No matter what nationality you are, Black Jesus is the best costume you can go as.
Absolutely. So obviously we're already going to vibe. We're already kicking. We were already talking. It's about 20 minutes of conversation already. So in getting into it, I gave that 30,000 foot view of what your work is, but I like to let the guests do it. I like to let the guests spin it. So for those who are uninitiated, give them the rundown, because I can't do it justice. You give them the rundown, please.
Well, I wasn't always a painter. I always could draw when I was younger. It was never a problem for me. But when I grew up, I guess around 20, I thought I was going to be a graphic artist. I thought I saw Jurassic Park. That was it. I was like, dude, I got to do what I want this program. I have to learn this program. So I went to community college starting out, and I got an apartment right across the street from the art department. Mm-hmm. So I would come over there with some chicken wings and some ribs to the security guards. They'll let me in there all night long. I'll be there to 2-3 in the morning, just happy learning. I could absorb and figure out how this program worked. And so when class started, I was beyond everybody else, even my teacher. Mm-hmm. So that's what my goal was. But marriage happened, kids happened, and what happened was all that fell apart. I lost my my life back in Virginia, and I came up here to hit reset.
Yeah.
And depression kicked in. No family, nobody. I just went to work, came home, and finally I went to a painting sip, and these old ladies was talking trash, and I, just playing around. I was good at it. I just didn't realize it. So the first time I actually posted a piece of my artwork, I was dating this girl, and I posted it, and she said, "Only reason people like your work is if they think you're cute." I'm like, all right. So I said, okay, we got to run a test. Let me repost the exact same image again on an alias. If I get roughly the same amount, and pretty much I want to give a middle finger to her.
Yeah.
I liked her, but I didn't love her. It was just that type of relationship. Like,
That's great. That's great.
But in that process, when I started painting things that got me upset, like if Reagan was on my mind, or somebody got shot recently, or anything, I could paint those emotions out. It was a good outlet for me. So when I started painting more political stuff, what happened is I was starting receiving death threats as Qrcky.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a blessing in disguise for her being a jerk to me, but it's also to protect me in certain situations. So if I want to paint a painting about Trump, or if I want to do something about anything that I truly feel, the best way to keep people coloring and lying is keep them fearful. But if they can't get to me, they can't find me, I have some freedom to be who I truly want to be. So I can paint. I don't have to paint a picture of Black Christ. I don't have to paint a picture of Black people hugging, or just the general. So I can paint anything I want and say whatever I want at any given time, and I don't care what anybody else thinks.
It allows you to be unencumbered by that and able to create without really any barriers. And
yes.
And that's the thing that I think gets lost, because I was reading, no, it's actually from this podcast. What's the lady's name? I think her name is Fran Lebowitz, and she has that series on Netflix called Let's Pretend It's a City. And she was critiquing things, and that's her lane. She's a critic of just things, like everything. That's her lane. And she's like, people feel like fine art in that kind of space, the visual arts generally, you can't critique visual arts or what have you. And it was an interesting thing. And I was just like, but people seem to have something to say about it all the time, but we can't critique it. So it's like, where are we at? And I think having that degree of anonymity, being under a mask or whatever that version of it is, like I was talking earlier before we got started about earlier when we first got started about The Weeknd, nobody knew who he was initially. So it's just like, you let the talent speak for it, and then you have these other things. Yeah.
What drives me nuts with social media, if you're a well-cut guy or a well-put-together woman, they will most likely pose what they're painting.
Yeah.
And usually they're scantily drawn or scantily clothed beside their painting. So what are you judging? What are you truly, are you judging this person's talent, their ability, their blood, sweat, and tears, or you like the way this person looks? And that's what makes it. It's just like, I don't think LL Cool J would be that great if we didn't look the way he did.
I agree with you.
I mean, remember, he made great music.
Yeah.
But skill-wise, I think M. Abdul was a better rapper than him, hands down. But it's difficult to truly judge, know what somebody truly thinks. So if I go to a gallery and people don't know it's me, I can walk in that gallery and then my work is right there and get their honest opinion. Their true uncut opinion. If they like it, what they don't like about it, because they're free to talk about the person because they don't know who that person is. Yeah. I like that. I actually love that. So when I go to Creative Alliance or any one of the other galleries my work might be in, I can sit there and just listen.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
And that's what I look for in this space of trying to justify a podcast actually being a medium that people should pay attention to or listen to or whatever. And, I'll have people, I get more for some of the podcasts I do, because I try to have fun. I'm provocative, and I'll get like, I don't know if I agree with that. It's like, appreciate you. Did you like the episode though? Or whatever. Whereas with this one, it's only really like positives and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, why is this positive and why is this something that's getting this response from you? I look for that real point of view. And I have a few people that I trust that I get that from because they don't have anything to gain from it. They'll just tell me like, you're really charismatic. You come off this way. That was a good series. And kind of when we talked about beforehand, you're like, oh, I like that or what have you. And it was like, oh, you don't know me from anything outside of going on this podcast. I could be a dick. And you're oh.
I had no idea, but for what I've seen up to this point, I like it.
That's part of why I'm doing it for people to kind of listen in and check it out and get it. So we talked about, and we already have some of these answers already, but we'll still do it. So who or what inspires your creative urges and what gets those creative juices or the roux, if you will, flowing? See what I did there with the roux?
Talking to a fat man, so yeah, I know what you're talking about. It could be pretty much anything. Usually, something on the news pisses me off, or something else will catch my eye, or some injustice will pop up, and you have to say something. Yeah. I'm not a writer. I'm far from a writer, but I can visually express what I feel and what I might be going through, what I might be thinking at that moment. So I find it difficult to paint just landscape scenes while I'm upset. And living in this environment, it's hard to not be upset at every turn. It's just impossible. How can you? It's hard to, I don't know, I seem like I waste time or I'm not respecting the person who just died by not speaking out or saying something. Why are you here? I respect some artists who might want to do more of cartoons and more of an abstract because I can see the skill in that. But if they're not saying anything, then I need more. I need more substance to it. I need soul art, soul music. So that type of, I need that in my life.
Yeah.
Anything else is just a waste.
That's legit. That's real.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But inspiring me, music. Usually if I'm painting, there's some type of music. I love Nina Simone. I love Tool. I love System of a Down. I love Talib Kweli. I have a range of music depending on what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need Metallica. I need Metallica 1. I just need to hear that over and over again to get me in that mindset that I need to be in. And that's what I play. My wife doesn't like it, but
where you have a broad array, like I'll go through my Spotify of like what I recently liked, and I remember it's always at this point of like when it's the darkest, dullest time of the year, no affect time, and I'll have on some of the weirdest, most gothic rock.
Oh, yeah.
It's like what is it, like the Sisterhood and things like that. And my girl's like, "Why are you listening to this vampire music? Where's your rock?" So that's how it goes.
It helps paint the mood. It does. It just does. I mean, trust me, I'd much rather pour that energy, that it is anger, frustration into that painting, into the people I'm around on a daily basis.
Yep.
If I see my son and like I'm thinking about the latest video of somebody getting beat by the cops, I need to put that in something else because the people around me don't need that right now.
It's transference.
I won't do it. It's like I'm not going to abuse them or be ill to them. I could put it somewhere. I could do something with it, and it's just the best way for me to handle it.
Yeah. I remember like, you know, just you live your life as a Black male or what have you, and then you see these different things, and you know, I have some thoughts. Me and my co-hosts, we talk about woke dollars and how activism became marketing and things like that.
Did you coin that?
Well, he did. I'll give him
That's a good one.
It is. And
Jesus Christ.
I remember like during the summer when things were at a very, very bad spot.
Yeah.
I just felt compelled. I was like kind of in the same fashion of I need to get this out, whether it be doing a podcast or whether it be going live and just stream of consciousness. This is what's on my soul, what's my heart right now. And it was interesting. I got the podcaster equivalent of Shut Up and Dribble a few times in the DMs. And I'm just like,
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you just make those memes that are so great? I was like, yo, I got to go through this life as this person. And this is a reality for me. So, yeah, you could jog off, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And also one of the things that when I got started in doing this, like I was a failed artist, you know, school of arts was like, man,
what kind of art did you do?
I did comic books, actually. I was a drawer. Yeah, I used to draw, illustrate, letter, all the stuff, color, everything.
Dude, don't you hurt my heart telling me you.
And then I was, but here's the thing. I still write a comic though. And I'll send you some stills of it. You can take a look.
My son is a comic book artist.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very proud. So when I say that, like, don't.
It's something that I got back to. I just didn't think it wasn't a lack of confidence in it anymore. It was like, I don't know if I have the wherewithal to do this part of it, but I can write this part. And so I started writing it instead of like drawing it, and I feel fulfilled in that way. Yeah. So it's like I backdoored into it, and it's a cat that's based on me. So I'm like, all right, this is very much me in this comic. Okay. But the thing I was getting at is when I started off in doing this particular like creative expression, which I've been doing for a long time, the first episode was me complaining about Albert Haynesworth getting signed to the Washington team. And I was like, 90 million, I'm a fat guy. I could take up a whole. That's literally what my conversation was. That's the first episode of this of Mastermind Team's broadcast, the one I've been doing for so long. So definitely having an opinion on something. And if you look back in like 2009, you had Obama going in, you had Tiger Woods being a hot boy. So I had a lot of Michael Jackson passing away. I had a lot of stuff to talk about that year.
I'm quite sure the Trump years kept you very.
We the last episode of one show I used to do called Metrocast, I think inauguration day or the week of inauguration for him, we stopped doing the show. We were talking about it leading up. We were talking about like Freddie Gray the day of, like when all this stuff was happening. And I was like, we're only going to be talking about this. We have to figure out something. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that guy.
I'm glad we're on the other side of that now. If we're, you know,
are we?
In terms of him being in power in that way.
Do you know when Hitler first ran, I think what happened was they imprisoned him. Mm-hmm. He got out and he was more powerful than ever, and he became the Hitler we all know.
Yeah.
If he goes to jail, I'm quite sure he's not going to survive. He's getting pretty old. But that mentality, those people who follow that type of doctrine, they haven't gone anywhere.
It's going to be a faux martyrdom of, you know, this is for us and our values and so on. And that notion needs to be eradicated. Like as when I want to say in that show, in that Robcast show I was talking about earlier, episode 199, we're at 319 now. 199, it was called, episode 200 was called Many Sides. And it was when we just realized we had Nazis here. And I was like, you think?
But they never listen to the people who complain about it until it happens. They're like, we're in a coal mine, we're a canary. Like, hey, this is racist. This is no. They want to keep digging. It's fine. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God. Then it actually happens. Then we're like, oh.
Suddenly they're beating up Negroes like hotcakes. And
yeah, exactly.
So,
but yeah, I don't know how we got it.
No.
Talk about everything else, but so actually.
But I mean, it's a real conversation. Now, like I said, I'll pepper into questions. So let's talk about creativity a little bit because you know, ultimately, where we've been going at in that conversation is still what would be social commentary, would be things that will pop up. Your viewpoints on some of these things would be things that pop up in what you do.
Yeah.
So Speak on creativity. Do you think it's something that a person has innately that they're born with, or that they cultivate and develop over time?
I have seen people, young kids, that just automatically they're good.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they're doing. It's instinctive to them. But to become a master, become the best, it takes time. It takes time of working on your skill and craft. I didn't start actual painting till like 6 years ago.
Mm.
I just didn't. And the first few years of that, I would take my initial paintings, drive to DC, and leave them on the street so whoever wants it can find and get them. It was like a scavenger hunt. Mm. I did about a painting a day when I was working in acrylics. I just get out my emotions of what I was feeling. So in that process, I got better.
Yeah.
When I look at my old stuff now, I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. But to see where I'm at now, I try to beat the shit out of the person I was yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the person I was yesterday. I don't like what he did yesterday. So I try to beat that person. That's the only person I'm in competition with, the only person I compare myself with. And if you do that and stop looking at other people and what they're doing, what's going on in their realms, unless you want to learn from them, mm-hmm. If you keep doing that and beating that person you were yesterday, you will get better. You will put in the time, you'll put in the effort, and you'll see your work evolve. The very moment you start comparing yourself to whomever, it's a losing cause. It's just, it's not healthy.
That's very valid. And I think it's worth a check-in with yourself regularly as to why are you doing this? As I said earlier, with the woke activism, the woke dollars and all of that stuff, mm-hmm. It's just like, oh, this is cloutable. Let's do it. Let's have this person on. And it's like, I'm not doing what other people are doing. Other people want to wear crowns and shit like that. I just want to do the thing that I'm doing. And I go back to a rapper that I was listening to a lot in a very interesting formative time. I was listening to a lot of Currency. I want to say a couple of years back, like maybe about 6 years ago. And I remember it was just something that he said in an interview that he doesn't listen to when he's in album mode or what have you. He doesn't listen to anything that's current. He listens to stuff that's old, and he listens to different genres, but nothing that's current because he feels it affects his writing process.
Exactly. I don't mind standing on the shoulders of somebody who came before me. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I have one of my homeboys, his name is Levi. He's a great artist. My brother in arms. Mm-hmm. And we would send each other images just to get each other reaction to push the other person further. Yeah. It's not a jealousy thing. It's not a competition thing. It's just, I'm going to push you further. Look what I did today. Now I got to reevaluate what I might be thinking about, or just thinking about what he's going. It's a nice, friendly competition. Yeah. But we're both on the same team trying to outrun each other. We're on the same team. I'm not in competition with you. If he gets there before I do, fine. If I get there, fine. But we love each other in that way that's the only person I can say that I have that type of relationship.
Because I think that's unique, because it's something that I crave from people. Like, you want to truly, honestly, like, I support what you're doing. I appreciate it. But I think, and kind of you touched on social media earlier, I think that's a piece of it that we've been in looking at how COVID and all of that stuff has changed and showed you the gaps in how we communicate. I think because we've been designed to look at things in this very binary fashion, it's either good or bad. Yep. They're either against you or they're not even on the table. And it's like, what if they support me? What if they're,
I tell you what, when I moved to Baltimore, the camaraderie and people willing to work with you was greater. DC did not have that for me. I had a few people who want to collaborate, but everybody, again, wants to be a king and queen. Mm-hmm. And I don't. I just want to get my word out there. I don't care. I don't like being a me monster. You ever heard of that term?
No, that's me
monster is like, no matter what you did, they did it better. Me. The attention needs to be on me. Me too. It can't about be like anything else. It can't be focused on somebody else's work or something else. It has to be on me. And when I came to Baltimore, I didn't feel that. I could see this shop somewhere and say, hey, would you like some artwork? And you're like, yeah, bring it in. And it's accepting, it's welcoming. It's so much easier for me to talk to the people here. It is Baltimore. I've only been here 3 years, and I can't see going back home unless something happens. I'm here for life, unless I get a place in Puerto Rico and then you guys can kiss it goodbye. This weather, I can't deal with.
It's a bit much. So you came up from Virginia, DC?
Yeah, I was originally born in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And unless you're painting ducks and nature scenes, you're not going to get it. It's a very 700 Club is right there, the Christian right there. You can't really do too much of anything. You can't be outspoken the way you want.
Yeah.
So when I came up to Northern Virginia, I was right near DC. I said, I just go to DC all the time. But I never made a connection with anyone. Mm-hmm. Not truly. I was trying to collaborate with other people. They would talk a good game, but nothing would ever come of it. But when I came here, it was like, I don't know what happened. Maybe back then I really did suck, and up here I'm much better. It could be that. But Baltimore has been very, very good for my art career, and I'm very thankful to be here.
So yeah, let's expound on the Baltimore connection a bit more, because I think like that's one of the things that's really a big part of this podcast. It's just like not necessarily. I initially I looked at it as normalizing Baltimore, but I think Baltimore is normal. I think that. Yeah. I think there's just not a lot of exposure, and it's often overlooked. I think that's the big piece of it.
I agree, because when I told my mom I was moving here, the comments from my family of what Baltimore was, none of them been here, but they had their preconceptions and their notions in their head what it was. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. Certain parts of Baltimore took me back, but other parts are beautiful.
Yeah,
I can walk to certain neighborhoods and it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And it's just, I had more positive things happen to me in Baltimore than negative. And I can't say that about being back in Virginia Beach. I can't.
That's the thing. Like in it, when I did that video, I literally tried to hit places that, in my opinion, had a certain reputation and also had a black thing. And I was intentional when I said New York, Philadelphia, New Orleans. And I think New Orleans and Philadelphia are the most similar to Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And at times, Baltimore is used as a placeholder for this is a bad city, like the same way that Chicago was used or what have you. And you'd be wild to not acknowledge that they don't mean all of Chicago. They mean the South Side. They mean where the black people are at. Yep. And it's coded and all of that stuff. And, I kind of look at people when they just have just a weird bias and don't acknowledge. I like to look at it in reality land, like where I like to live at. It's not Narnia, it's reality land for me. And it's like, yeah, that's there. But also we have dope people here. We have really cool entrepreneurs. We have a lot of talent here, a lot of black art here. Yeah. And that's the thing that's not a part of the conversation. And it's not a matter of being goofy and having the blinders on and say, oh, that doesn't exist. It's not dangerous.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that.
but that's what people, when you ride for it, that's what people will throw at you. It's like, but so you mean this? No, I don't. I mean what I'm saying.
Yeah. I went hiking. I was right down the street from where I live, and there's like waterfalls. A place called Hanging Bridge. You ever heard of that?
No.
If you ever get Swinging Bridge. I apologize. Okay. Swinging Bridge. You ever get a chance when the weather breaks, take your girlfriend there. It is beautiful. It is utterly beautiful. River. There's playgrounds, and I'm sitting here like this is all part of Baltimore. That whole area, and every time somebody talks down about it, I see something else beautiful that I didn't see back home, or I couldn't access back home, or I wasn't welcome, or I was treated differently because of my skin tone. Here, it doesn't happen. So I can understand people. It's to a point that I don't want you to come. I don't. I'd much rather keep all this good. It is whatever you say it is. I'll sit here and enjoy this meal of this crab. I'll go to Doda's Kitchen and have me some the best vegan food I could possibly imagine. Yeah, you're right. It's horrible over here. Yeah, exactly. Whatever you said. What'd you do today? I take pictures of hiking. Where are you? Don't worry about it.
I'll say my manager, she mentioned something really funny. She was like, she's like, I came here looking for all these cool black people who came up from Miami. It's like, came here look at all these cool black people. I see a bunch of white people walking around with flip-flops on. It's like, a lot of flip-flops and dogs.
And they said, when I do run into the white people who are walking their dogs at night and stuff like that, we have conversations. You never get their side of the story. I'm quite sure they had one guy, but nothing. It's never that much. I was when I first got here. What's that? It's something in the middle of the city. I'm still keep in mind I'm not from here.
Yeah.
There is a fish market in the middle of the city. I can't think of the name of it. It's closed right now because it's going on renovations.
Yeah. I'm blanking on it now. Yeah, I don't know too many of the fish markets.
Anyway, I'm in there and there's like music playing. There's people out there dancing. I'm in there talking to this cop. Mm-hmm. And the cop, man, was just shooting breezes. And I told him I was an artist. I'm like, yeah. He said, and keep in mind, I haven't been here like 3 weeks. He said, what about the crime? He said, you sell drugs? I said, no. Are you having sex with anybody who sells drugs? I said, no. You ain't got nothing to worry about.
That's great.
Unless you are having sex with somebody who's selling drugs or you're selling drugs, nobody's bothering you. You're not in that area. You're not in that realm. Don't have anything to worry about. I paused for a second, looked around while I'm in this place, and I'm seeing all these black businesses and people selling food, and people are dancing and laughing. And he's like, he's absolutely right. Mm-hmm. The entire Easter market, no, that's not it. But it was just stepping back and actually looking at it. It's like no different looking at painting. You might see the violence in it, but it's also beauty there that you're overlooking. Nobody notices it.
Right.
And it's like, oh, it's so violent. It's a violent picture. It is beautiful at the same time. Mm-hmm. It is beyond beautiful. And if you stop and look at it, you'll see it.
You got to see the full picture.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So let's, I like to get to some of my weirder, goofier questions.
Go ahead, shoot.
I'm going to switch them up on you because I feel like you had prep, and I don't like that. Early on in this show, I used to give people the crab cake question. They'd get really pissed and like, damn, man, you're going to get me kicked out of Baltimore. But before we get to those types of questions, aside from your work, and you touched on earlier some of your animation skills, what have you, mm-hmm. What other creative interests or talents do you have?
I like playing chess. I like inventing. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm working on a hydroponic system. Okay. I'm teaching myself how to basic coding, and my wife started growing plants everywhere. And to maintain her happiness through the winter times, I said, I'll develop a hydroponic system. But every time I went somewhere and tried to look at something, it was horrible looking. I didn't want it in my house. I wanted something elegant and beautiful. Yeah. So I started developing my own. I made my prototype, and I got the wiring, got the tubing, and everything seems to work. And I enjoy staying busy, mentally busy. Yeah. I don't play video games. I don't watch sports. Hell, I don't even really drink. So I try to keep my mind going creatively all the time. I would be ashamed to die if I didn't contribute something to this world. I would be ashamed. I want to make the world better in the way I can or where I see I can. So if I can invent this and make it for my wife, maybe somebody else might want it. Mm-hmm. Or if it's so many ways to learn something now. There's no excuses. Right. If you didn't get your hustle on doing this COVID, I don't know what to say for you. Yeah. It's just, you had time on your hands to learn something. You could have been a realtor, you could have took a skill, anything. Yeah. Did not get your hustle on doing this COVID. I don't know what to say for you.
I mean, it should have been a period to really fortify your creative process, tighten those things up, or figure out different stuff. Like pretty much COVID's been a boom period for this podcast. I mean, It was just one of those things where I was like, all right. And like, the first season was like maybe 20 episodes. The second season was probably 23. This one's going to be probably 35 episodes. And I've already started recording for season 4. And it's just, I remember when I talked to this marketing person, they were joking with me. It's like, I doubt if you'll be able to find 20 people who are interesting in Baltimore. I was like, I'll find them. I was like, oh, maybe what I deem as interesting is not that interesting, but that's where I'm at with it. And I feel like it's really important to do those as one is needed for the city, I think, but also for the people in it to feel like this interview in a sense of, here's your roses for you. Here's someone acknowledging that you have some talent and let's talk about it. Let's hear your story. Let's just shoot the shit and let's see where it goes. So since you're a man that enjoys the food such as I, so we'll have that. And I'm getting a blurred vibe off of you.
Okay, go ahead.
Cartoons.
What about it?
What is your favorite? What's your top three? Your top three cartoons?
Jesus.
I can go to a decade if you want. I mean, to help you out with that.
Right now, in the time frame right now, Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty that's just for the thought, the effort they put into the show, the hidden meaning, everything they do, and the continuity of the storytelling, unsurpassed. It's really fire. I used to like Ed, and Eddie heavily. The art style, the way they drew the lines, the color, even the motion of the characters was beyond anybody else. Going back further than that, Thundercats.
Okay. I see.
Because it was at that age, I never saw Japanese animation.
Yeah.
Until I saw this, or I didn't know what I was looking at. I just knew this was better. Any type of Looney Tunes, or rephrase that, the old Looney Tunes, not that new rebooting where they got superpowers, everybody's slim and black. I can't.
Oh, Lunatics? Yeah.
That is an abortion. That is a visual abortion, and you should call Child Protective Service or anybody let their kid watch any of that stuff. I can't stand. Oh my God! I can tell you what I don't like. The Amazing World of Gumball is freaking amazing.
Yes, it is.
Amazing World of Gumball. Adventure Time was amazing. What's that?
Were you a regular show guy?
In the stomach. What was his name? Had a shield. God dang it. Crystal Gems.
Oh, you're talking about Steven Universe.
Steven Universe. They had gay. They had bisexual. It was just so powerful. I'm like, Jesus, this is amazing. Yeah. It was so good to see what they were coming out with, but then they would have something like Uncle Grandpa, like, you go to hell.
Certain choices that were made there, like I was a big regular show guy.
Regular show's amazing.
And then have you watched Close Enough yet?
One?
Yeah, that's a great show. It's fire. It's a good one. I'm a fan of JG Quintel. He gets it.
My wife, nothing turns the mood off more than me watching cartoons.
Here's the thing. Me and my girlfriend, all we do on the weekend is watch cartoons and horror movies.
Oh, you better marry that woman.
We watched Nightbreed last weekend.
Nightbreed, I haven't heard that one.
That was a Clive Barker movie from 1990, and David Cronenberg is the villain. Craig Schaefer, they turn into monsters in it, but this is the thing.
Is it Cronenberg monsters?
It's some body horror in it, so yes. It's worth a watch. The anniversary of the 31st anniversary was yesterday of that film.
Okay, well, hold on, wait. What was this again?
Nightbreed.
Remind me to watch Nightbreed.
Okay. I'll say this. So apparently my face betrays me a lot of times, and my girlfriend was just like, it was a bad drop kick or some bad editing that happened in it. As the drop kick happens and it turned it from a flying side kick to a drop kick when it landed, she looked at me and was like, what's he going to say? I was like, hold on, let's run that.
Okay.
Let's go back to the footage.
That's a certain time. When you say this was made again?
1990.
Give it a pass. You give it a pass.
I mean, there might be a dude whose face is shaped like a moon and he might have testicles as his chin. I was giving it a lot of passes. That was the one choreography pass that I was just like, I think I'm all set here, guys. It's worth watching.
He had a moon face and testicles and chin.
It was just, yeah.
All right, so I'll be watching this by myself, I take it.
Yeah, it's pretty corny. You'll have a good time. You'll have a good laugh. Let me know what you think.
What do you think of Mandalorian?
I like Mandalorian. I think they cut out all the stuff that you don't want and just give you the things that you want. It's a Western. It's prepackaged. It's short. It makes sense. They somehow accomplish more than those. Because I wrote this big blog about for a franchise that's like nearly 45 years old, at least at the time when I wrote this, like last year.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, they had, for the most part, we had for about 35 years just some specials, but 3 movies, and then suddenly they mass produced 5 different properties, including, this is actually before Mandalorian started. So whenever that was. And I was like, we have fatigue. I was like, the Solo movie, the response to that was part of that fatigue. And the response to the other movies, the only one that I heard that was critically kind of appreciated was Rogue One. Everything else was wild buns. And with the exception of like Mandalorian, but then instead of saying, let's parse this out in meaningful ways, it's Disney just saying, here, you're going to take all of this and we have to sort it out. You have to sort it out.
I'm happy with it. How beautiful it looks, how the storyline was told, except for Cara Dune, the girl who got kicked out, which
Ronda Rousey, you'll be replacing her.
Dude. All she had to do is shut up.
Yeah.
All she had to do is shut up. I'm sorry. All right. I'm not saying I'm a sellout. When Disney came up and said, hey, we're going to put you in a Star Wars franchise. Yeah. And you get X amount of dollars. I'll keep my mouth shut for a little while. Just for a little while.
I mean, they did a thing, not Star Wars as much as Star Trek. Walter Mosley, right? Mm-hmm. So he was one of the writers, I think. He was in the writer's room, at least, for one of the most recent movies, the Chris Pine movies. Mm-hmm. Or it was either that or the Discovery Show. It was one of the two. So it was within the last few years. And he may have thrown around the N-word a few times. And he got fired for saying that. But he's a black dude. And he was just like, yeah, I'd rather say it than be treated like one. And I was like, huh. And I was like, Walter Mosley from the 3.
Okay.
And where are the Easy Rollins things? Where are those things?
That was amazing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I got problems with television. That's a conversation for a later time, I think. But the last question I have for you, okay. And again, no, this has been great. And this has been a joy for me today, actually. So food. Yeah, this might be tougher than the cartoon question.
I'm listening.
You got someone coming up here visiting. There's no COVID. Things are normal. They're coming up for a long weekend. You have to plan 3 dinners. What restaurants are you going to? What are you having?
Echelon, number 1.
They were previous guests. Yeah, they get it.
Jesus Christ! All right, keep in mind. I'll say this. I'm still new to the area, so I'm going to the most likely everything on my list. You're like, okay, I understand that. But I'm still new to the area. Echelon. The tang, the sweetness, the juice. It's a perfect meal. Mm-hmm. Perfect meal. Okay. After that, my wife is a 7-day Adventist, so she likes vegetarian. So most likely we'll try a vegetarian place to blow their minds away about vegetarian food. Dota's Kitchen. Mm-hmm. Dota's Kitchen. Because they support me and I like their food and they're under new management. IDBs.
Okay.
I got my mom, my grandma. That's my Sunday wrap up. They want to go to a nice Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
I can take them to IDBs. My artwork's in the back. So, yeah, those are my picks right now because that's what I normally go to. Yeah. And as soon as somebody hits me to another place, like at first it was BRD. You ever heard of that? BRD?
Oh, Bird's Fire. Bird's Fire.
Not all of them.
I'll put it this way. The one at one location, I don't want to burn bridges, but one at one location, they changed something within their batter.
Yes, they did. It pissed me off.
I'm a taste guy. I know what I'm looking for. And I was like, the other location, they have different items there.
Yep.
And they get it right. But then here's the wild thing. the chicken wars are created here because have you heard of Fuku?
No, should I?
David Chang from Momofuku, he now has a chicken sandwich place here. Fuku.
What's it called again?
Fuku.
Fuku. Fuku.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta put my glass. I'm old.
So we're having the local chicken wars of the 2020s.
Oh, okay. All right. So I changed my game plan. The only thing I really don't get a chance to enjoy truly, since my wife's 7-day Adventures, is crab. And that's a sacrilege being in Baltimore.
That's true.
So she's gone this weekend. If you had to recommend one crab cake for me to get this weekend, keep in mind, she don't go nowhere. This is the only time I'm being without her. This is it.
See, because I'm smug, I would say mines, but that's, I mean, wow. I make a good crab. I smoke my crab cakes and they're Japanese influence. So, the big wave is out here. I would say, I've heard Coco's is fire. That, like I said, this used to be the question. Coco's is fire. That's KO.
Mm-hmm.
Fadley's is fire. That's in Lexington.
I've been there.
And lastly, Pappas, Pappas. Those are the ones of note. Yeah, you get the bang for your buck there.
Pappas?
Yes. They're the bomb. You gotta just try. You gotta have that. You gotta get it in. It's like, look, I do this every once in a while.
You didn't ask me. I can throw down.
Okay.
And cooking. I didn't never think about it because I do it so much.
Yeah. In
a relationship, I do the cooking. The rules are she do dishes, I do cooking, and I sweep the floors. But I got a Roomba, so haha.
So what is your go-to thing? Like, what is your go-to? Like, I'm like brisket.
Smoked brisket. I made my own smoker. I have all the equipment. I can do a brisket that will rival people in Texas.
Okay. I ain't got nothing else to say. I mean, I stumbled a Traeger smoker fell off a truck and into my backyard during the summer.
Are you joking? Or are you?
Let's just say it was left and I obtained and no, I bought it. I use my next purchase is a Kamado grill.
I want the ceramic one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford it, but so if one of your listeners want to bequeath a nice young artist of Kamado grill style, I'll be more than happy to take it.
that was definitely on the list. The one that has like the little pizza rack in there.
Oh, it's nothing like. Look, I love the smell of grilled food. It's just the smoke. I think the longest I ever smoked the brisket was like 15 hours for like Thanksgiving. Turkeys, deep fried turkeys. I'm originally from the southern part of Virginia, so we deep fry everything, and it's like good food. It just food from where the area I'm from. It's like showing I love you. If I give you some of my food, a plate of my food, and I send it to you, it's like saying I love you. I'm thinking about you. Here you go. And food is amazing. I'm sorry.
So let me do my wrap up. Let me do my sign off real quick. We can definitely keep this conversation going, but I want to wrap that up. So anything that you want to shamelessly plug, because that's what I like to give every guest the opportunity to plug away.
I have a showing going on right now at Creative Alliance upstairs. Everyone ever upstairs. And yeah, I'm constantly uploading things to my Instagram and Facebook. You can get me at QRCKY on any of the social medias, and check out my website for any merch you might want to purchase.
And what's that website again?
QRCKY.net. QRCKY.net, everyone.
So thank you. That's pretty much it from me. So I'm gonna do my sign off. For my man Q, for Qrcky, I am Rob Lee saying that there is art in and around Baltimore. You just got to look for it.